Well, hello, Ed Zenneman here, Millionaire Possibilities and Zenneman Real Estate. You guys probably all know who I am because you attend the meetings, and that's how you've heard about me. Let me turn this fan off. I just realized it may be giving a sound that will not be good. So again, Ed Zenneman, Millionaire Possibilities, and Zenneman Real Estate. So excited to start these meetings for us to close out the year strong, and it won't be easy. There'll be times it seems like, man, that was just easy, but sometimes it will be some hurdles and decisions to make, and always adjusting our process during this time. So let me get started. Real quick review. Oh, actually, let me start with apologies for while this has taken me a little bit of time to get to this point. Is as you can see, I'm here in my personal office with my background. I'm actually setting up a video studio on the third floor. That we've got the tables and we've got the chairs, and I was scheduled to be painted. Had a little problem with sound. I won't go any further, but we talked about moving and what we're going to do with the sound for the people next door. We finally got that resolved, and I believe they were going to start painting tomorrow, but I pulled my contractors off to put them on one of my clients' projects. So it'll be Monday. So I will be coming to you soon for my new video, the first step in that video studio. And so it's nothing elaborate. It's just going to get me going in the direction I'm wanting to go. But anyway, but there's a good point in that. I kept sort of putting this off, like, oh, I want to have the studio, and I finally said, I'm going to go ahead and start this meeting, not in the room I wanted, but I'm going to start it here in my office. There's nothing wrong with the office. I love the office, but I'm like, I could get this moving and not waiting for it to be perfect. That is one of my downfalls. I like to have everything as I can, the best that we can. But anyway, let me keep moving on. So you'll notice every once in a while I look to the left. Is that was where I have some of my notes to make sure I attempt to stay on track. So, if a little review from MP, because a few people have joined that didn't come to the last Thursday night meeting, as I said, there's basically three things that happened in the fourth quarter of a football game, three situations. One, the game is tight, okay, and you maybe can win, you can maybe lose. You got to put your uh, best effort forward. You got to be sharp, watch the clock. You got to do all of that. And so we talked about you have some things you know you're in the middle of. You know I've got to work hard to get this done, and you just got to stay focused. And I don't think most of us are going to have a issue of understanding what we need for those. If you do, you can email me any questions you might have. The other two, though, is one is where it's a blowout. And I joke about how is the OU and OSU when we got the two games blown out this year. In a blowout game, one team is looking like this isn't working, and I'm going to try anything. I'm going to try to do people. I'm going to try to do plays. This isn't working. And another side of the field is the one that's winning. They're like, I'm going to save my players and I'm going to start trying out some backup players that may be next up, but I'm going to protect them. The point is, both of them are thinking the next game. They've sort of already decided where this game's going to be. And so there's some projects that we're going to look at this year, our goals this year to finish out this year. Like, I can't get them done this year. I already know. But you need to start thinking about next year. Okay, I can't make these this year, but how am I going to spend some time to get them ready for next year? We're going to talk about that a little bit more in another session. The third one is where, like, it's like one of these ball games you go to. It looks like we're losing. The team hadn't been playing really good, but before you know it, that team came back and they won. There's great comeback players in the game. And I've been there. I've been at an OU game. I've watched on TV. That's over, and I change the channel, or I leave. Actually, one time I was at the parking lot at an OU basketball game, turned the radio on in my car, and like, oh my gosh, they came back and won. And I thought for sure the way they played it was over. So I want to talk about those. What projects, what goals do you have that, you know what, if I put a little effort, a little extra effort and adjusted my priorities and my schedule for this season, can I make happen? So with that, let me share a success story. Is there was a person in the meeting. I've had several success stories just from the meeting. And I had one investor. He had four properties he was looking to do rentals with, and to get all four of them rented. I think they were Airbnb or long-term stay. I think uh, before the end of the year, and he had four. And his goal was to get all four of them rented before the end of the year. And I was on the phone with this person last week. They've already done three because they made some adjustments and some plans and some effort and believed, had the mindset they can make this happen, and they're going to do it. I believe it. So I want to hear your success stories. Um, so I want to ask you, how many people have set and looked through your goals? That was one of the assignments. Remember to pick these goals out. Have you separated those goals? Do you know which ones? Man, this is close. I got to keep a priority daily. Watching this one will make it happen, or these. Which ones? That's not going to happen this year. I'm going to put a little time into it, but it's going to be more planning how to make it happen next year. And then which ones? Like, you know what? They maybe not look like happen this year, but a little extra effort, maybe they will. Now you can't take all of them and make them there because it's going to take more time. But make that list. So also we talked about making this year in big with Christmas. It's not just about money, it's about your family. We create special moments in our family. Every year we have some traditions. But at the end of the year I was like, oh, I meant to do this. Or I would like to have done that. Or you know what, I thought about it, that would be great. So have you looked at what you want to do with your family, whether it's giving, special times, a trip, a break, whatever, that you're like, I really like to do that? Have you thought about, I've wanted to take and help somebody out, pick a family and help them get Christmas? Maybe you've always thought about that. What's the plan to make it happen? So a couple of things that we do is I rent a 15 passenger high top van, and we all go, my whole family go out and look at Christmas gifts. My wife and I, we love Christmas music and we love Christmas movies. And some of them we watch every year. Well, we make a list of what Christmas movies we want to see this year. And we'll make a list of priorities and we start scheduling them. Sometimes it may be one in one night. Sometimes they're like, we're going to take a movie night. And it sounds like a lot, but you know what? I'm so busy, and I'm sure you are too, that there's times you just say, I have to stop. I can work at my desk, and I like what I do until 10 o'clock every night at my home office. But I make a pretty conscious effort to between 7 and 7:30. We've already ate. We've already done a little bit of work for the next day. We move to the living room, and we've got new recliners, and we'll watch TV together, just Lisa and I. And we have two black cats, and normally they each one get in our lap, and we'll have something to drink and maybe a little dessert and watch TV. Well, this season we'll take time to watch Christmas movies. And so that's something we like. Maybe that's not your thing, but maybe it could be your thing for one or two movies. Do something with the kids, okay? Not every movie she wants to watch is one I really want to watch, but I spend time with her. Same thing, vice versa, but many of them we like to watch together. And yes, every year we watch White Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life, along with many, many others. Okay, so think about that. We've already helped some families, not a lot of money, a couple $100, and helping some kids have Christmas. And we've got, I don't want to share, but there's a pretty some people we're going to probably help with some furniture that needs some furniture, and we want to bless them. And so it's pretty cool to be able to do that. I've not always been able to do it, and maybe you aren't. Maybe you're not in that place, but maybe you have $5, maybe you have $20. So I just want to throw that out there. Make a plan. That's giving back. So I've been talking about, and this won't go on a whole lot longer because I don't want to make these 30-minute things where you dread them, but it's going to be more than a 60-second commercial you'd watch on TV. But anyway, when you watch one of those, there's normally 10 of them in line, so it takes 10 minutes. But anyway, I mentioned your goal or your project. This is just my opinion. It's how I look at my goals. There's fine to have all these goals. I have a lot of goals, and I call them dreams and wish lists until I make them a project. When I make them a project, I put together a list of what has to be done, when they're going to be done, who does what, and I monitor that project, and I set due dates. Okay, I've got projects that are not due till next summer, but I'm like, okay, I have to start this next year. But here's in my mind, I look at that probably once a month, keep it in the back of my mind. If I have thoughts about it, I can go add it to that project file, okay? But every day I look at my projects. So I have projects for this week. I have tasks for this week towards my projects. So I'm asking you, look at some of your tasks. Let's start with the goals that you have for this year. Do you make them a project? Do you have a task list on what it's going to do? Do you know, like, I need to do A, B, and C first. Here's going to help me, or here's what I need to find out. Because if you don't, it's just sitting out there something you wish or hope happens. Okay? So that's why I just wanted to share that. So a couple of the action steps I'd like for you to do is if you send me, none of these I'm going to make you do it, but I would like for you to. You're grown adults. I want to respect who you are. and successful people, and on your way to being more successful. But if you'd like to send me all or some of your goals that you would like to reach for this year, I'd like to see those. I'll keep them very confidential. The reason is I will help hold you a little accountable. I'm not going to spend all the time, but once a week or whatever, I'd like to get feedback. How are you making movement? Because when you make movement, like the gentleman on the 4 units, man, I was able to appreciate that success and tell him I was proud of him and I'm excited for him. And you have to feel successful when you have steps towards your success. But it's good to have someone that if I just send you, look, how are you coming on this? And you haven't done anything, okay? I think you know where I'm going. Um, I'd also like to have reports on how you're doing in movement, like this gentleman. Hey, here's my goal. Here's the steps that I'm hoping to do this, and then you're like, I'd like to do it next week. It's basically some accountability. This is not something I'm going to do forever, and it's not going to be one-on-one. It's going to be some email stuff. I'm not going to share it with everybody, but it's not going to be one-on-one in person. But I just want to help you be accountable for what you want to get done the rest of the year, okay? But send me your success stories. And if you're fine if I share some of them on these videos, be sure and put the ad that's okay to share. If you don't say that, I'm going to assume it's confidential, okay? Or if I have a question, can I share it? I might reply back to you. The other thing I'd like to do is if you have any questions on what I've talked about, the football analysis in the fourth quarter or setting up goals to a project, any ideas or thoughts you want to talk about Christmas planning, and send me those questions. We're going to be having more videos. We're going to be talking about several things about accomplishing, moving your projects further, and vision and mindset. We're going to have lots of great things that I think you're going to enjoy. And I've got some special guests that's going to be entering in with this. But I wanted to get this started tonight. So please, what I'd like to do, you committed by doing this, and this is one commitment I really would like to hold you to. Please reply back in an email when you get this that you watched it and what you thought about it. Okay? I would love to hear some of your goals and your projects. Love to hear your success stories, and I'd love to hear any questions you got. But I really want to know that you watched it. So reply back, hey, that was great, Ed, or I didn't like it, it's too long, whatever. If you liked my car or something, I really want to hear how you liked this video. And then I'd like to hear how you're doing. But I want to know you watched it and like to hear what you thought about it. So that's all I've got. I've kept this to about 12 minutes. I'm shooting for 10 to try to keep these where they're something that you don't like, oh, I have to go get popcorn and a Coke and mark off my evening for, okay? So that's it. Ed Zimmerman. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I've got, by the way, I'll give a success story. I closed quite a larger apartment complex or a good-sized apartment complex earlier this week, and it looks like I'm closing another one tomorrow. So that makes for a great week to do those kinds of closings. But I want to hear your successful stories, okay? And so have a great rest of your weekend, and you'll be hearing from another video from me probably the first of next week. Thank you.